But Shehzad Khan, whitewashing the role of Pakistan ISI, this is not just criminal, it is sin. And if this has been done, this is truly a sin that's been committed by the filmmakers here, sir.
Thank you very much for having me on your channel. First and foremost, I have seen the entire series, and I don't see any whitewashing of any terrorist group. They have been exposed, how cruel, how bad they are, how ruthless they are. And maybe the Taliban was playing a double game. That also can be seen in the series. It's a very well-made series. It shows what has happened that time, and it has hidden a lot of facts. The facts that a bureaucrat's wife was on the flight, because of which the commandos in Amritsar couldn't barge in and take over the plane. It shows that there was a very, very rich man from that they didn't show, but they showed an English man, for a very rich man from Switzerland. First time he always flew private jets. First time he was going in a public airlines, and he also happened to be there. And the Swiss government told the Indian government that we are ready to negotiate, we are ready to pay the amount, what they are asking for. So please, just see the thing, try to read, and we should try to learn from our mistakes. And it is the duty of the intelligence agencies that henceforth in future, such things should not happen with our citizens, especially of India, and with our airlines, and with the humans around us.
So you're saying ISI role is not whitewashed? You're raising certain facts that are not part of the series. So I will not say that. I will not say that. And I don't know whether it's because of the bureaucrat's wife that you claim that the plane wasn't stopped at Amritsar. The fact remains that the Punjab police chief then was directed to fire at the wheels of the plane. But he was too timid to do so by his own admission in a book. But let me bring in Raghav Avasthi. Raghav Avasthi, there is no whitewash of Pakistan's ISI, says Shehzad Khan. And you have your hands up. Response, sir.
Is right. So, as far as one aspect is concerned, Shehzad is actually right. What he is saying is that there was some sort of an intelligence failure, that is one. And that there were other people who were on the plane and their relatives were putting constant pressure on the Indian government in a manner that perhaps Israeli citizens would not do. So both these points are right. But ultimately, we need to know. We need to know that it was the ISI and the Afghan Taliban that were working in cahoots with each other. They are being portrayed as some sort of humanists. So if you portray them as some sort of humanists, then allegations of whitewashing will definitely be leveled against you. And I am not at all saying that there was no intelligence failure, or that powerful and influential people did not put outsized pressure on the Indian government to negotiate with the terrorists. There is no doubt about it. I was 13 years old. I was old enough to know what was happening. There were people who were demonstrating outside South Block, and they were saying things like, "We don't care."
Not just outside South Block, outside what was then known as 7 Racecourse Road. Then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's residence, and there were families that were protesting there, and the role of a section of the media that was highlighting those protests, that cacophony that was built for early release. Let there be a happy new year. Let them be released. The amount of pressure that was mounted on the government, but governments are supposed to withstand pressure. Incidentally, when you speak of Israel, Israeli hostages, their families are putting pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu government even today. But then those operations continue. It's the weakness of the government then, and that there's no denying that fact. But Advaita Kala, I want to come back to you on that point. Has role of Pakistan's ISI been whitewashed in this Netflix series? Because that is a very grave allegation to make. We've had the country's current national security advisor, Ajit Doval, who has been quoted in the past saying that we would have negotiated a settlement but for Pakistan ISI's role. Advaita.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think that is also one of the reasons why there is this outrage, because it's, first of all, if you claim something to be based on true facts, then stick to the facts. No one holds a brief for the government of that day or the intelligence failure or any of that. Feel free to show that. No problem. The problem that people have is this clean chit to ISI and the fact that terrorists are, after all, humans, and he may have fallen in love with with an air hostess and said, "Take care of yourself." I mean, what are your priorities? This isn't only agenda driven, it's also dangerous when you go ahead and you represent things on such an influential medium like cinema or web series. And they're young, impressionable minds who are anyway looking for reasons to empathize and sympathize with these kind of actions that requisite even sacrificing your own life. So that's the kind of derangement you're dealing with when there are people who are motivated to carry out acts of terror. Now, if you go ahead and you add a humane angle to it, then you're playing with fire. And that is just not justified under any circumstances. See, he's done this in the past with that film Article 15, which was again ostensibly a true story, but the casts were changed. Right? Now, that may have happened because of political reasons or whatever the case may be. It was again motivated. Now,
so why is this creative license? Fair enough. You've raised a very pertinent point.